You're as crazy as the people on Twitter. I'm not Laurence Fishburne. We don't all look alike.
My interview statement for the day. And here's the photo. I'm not Laurence Fishburne.
That is Samuel L. Jackson, sitting on a satellite feed in February of 2014, watching a veteran morning show anchor realize, live, and in real time, that he has just confused him with a completely different human being. And you would think the polite thing, the normal thing, the thing almost any other celebrity would do, is to wave it off, laugh, let the guy save face, move on to the movie. Except Jackson does not do normal. Because for more than 30 years now, in interview after interview, on couch after couch, this man has done the one thing the entire Hollywood press machine is built to prevent. He refuses to play along. He refuses to be coached, handled, softened, or turned into a smiling promotional product. And the reason nobody can handle Samuel L. Jackson's energy is not that he is rude. It is that he treats every interview as a test of whether the person across from him is being real. And most of them fail. So let me take you back, because this did not start with social media or viral clips. This started decades ago, when the host always had the upper hand. And Jackson just took it. Go back to the late 1990s. Network television is terrified of profanity. There are rules, regulators, fines. And Jackson is on a late-night couch with Conan O'Brien telling a story, and he slides into his trademark vernacular and drops his signature expletive on live television like it is nothing. As the story goes, and this one has lived in late-night lore for years, O'Brien panics and jumps in to play the responsible network host. "Hey, you can't say that!" And Jackson just stops, locks eyes with him, and says, very quietly, "Did you just say I can't do something?" That was it. O'Brien backpedaled instantly. Because even then, before the memes, before the franchises, before he was the highest-grossing actor on the planet, there was already an understanding in the room. You do not tell this man what he cannot do. And if you want to know how deep that confidence runs, look at the purple lightsaber. When he was cast as a Jedi in the Star Wars prequels, Jackson walked up to George Lucas, a man who controls every atom of that universe, and asked for a purple lightsaber. Lucas told him the rules. Good guys are blue and green. Bad guys are red. There is no purple. And Jackson, completely unbothered by the most protected mythology in modern movies, just said, "Yeah, but I want a purple one." He got the purple one. He looked at a billion-dollar rulebook and decided it did not apply to him. Remember that, because it is the whole story. Now fast forward to the 2000s and 10s when the press stopped wanting safe answers and started hunting for viral moments. They wanted a gotcha, and Jackson started handing them their own tactics, right back. December 2012, a reporter sits down to talk about a film built around racially charged language, and he tries to bait Jackson into a controversial soundbite. But he is too scared to actually say the word at the center of his own question, so he hides behind the phrase, the N-word. And Jackson sees the entire game instantly. He stops the interview cold. He asks the reporter to say it, the actual word. "We're not going to have this conversation unless you say it." The reporter squirms, refuses, says it is not the same thing. And Jackson delivers the line that ended him. "It wasn't a great question if you can't say the word." He did not get angry. He just exposed the man's whole agenda in one sentence. The journalist wanted to mine racial controversy for clicks while staying clean. Jackson made him sit in it. And here is the thing people miss. It is not always loud. A month later, in early 2013, a famously combative British journalist tried to corner him with the old argument that violent movies cause real-world violence. The same interviewer had already made Jackson's own director melt down on camera. But Jackson did not melt down. He just got quiet and smart and said he grew up surrounded by guns in the South and nobody shot anybody, and that the real issue was people who were never taught the value of life. No explosion, no soundbite. He just calmly dismantled the premise and left the interviewer holding nothing. But if you want the single moment that proves nobody can handle this man, it is the one we opened with. And once you have seen that, you start seeing the pattern everywhere. In early 2016, a brand new radio show in Australia tried to flatter him, asking in hushed, reverent tones how he possibly memorizes those long, rhythmic monologues. They wanted artistry, They wanted the magic of the craft. Jackson looked at them and said, "Not that hard. I get paid every Friday. It's what I get paid to do." Then he asked the nervous new hosts if they were breaking their cherry on air. The room went silent. He had stripped every ounce of pretension out of the job in about 9 seconds. That same month, he turned his bluntness on a man who would become President of the United States. Jackson had said in a magazine that Donald Trump cheats at golf. Trump fired back online, claiming he had never even met Jackson and that Jackson does too many commercials. Boring. Not a fan. So Jackson went on a late-night show and calmly laid out the receipts. The specific course, the specific day. Anthony Anderson was there. They watched Trump hook a ball into a lake, and his caddy magically found it. The host asked, "Did you see a splash?" Jackson deadpanned, "I saw a splash." And then he went home and posted the actual itemized bill from the golf club online, proof they had been there together. Before bringing receipts was even a phrase, he did it to a future president and won. And here's how you know a person is truly comfortable in their own skin. As he got older, he stopped raising his voice at all. He weaponized boredom. In 2017, during a Read Mean Tweets segment, he was handed a phone with a tweet that read, "Samuel L. Jackson has resting fart face. The whole bit depends on the celebrity laughing or pretending to be hurt." Jackson read it, lowered the phone, and just stared dead into the camera, and in doing so became the exact unimpressed face the tweet was describing. He did not perform. He just was it. A few weeks later, a sincere Swedish reporter on a junket for a giant monster movie asked him what he hoped audiences would take away from the film. And Jackson, exhausted by hours of identical questions, slid down in his chair and gave the slowest, flattest, most gloriously deflated answer imaginable. Basically, look, it is an escapist movie about a giant ape. You go to escape the news. That is the whole point. The outlet was so aware of what had happened that they posted the clip with a title admitting the interview did not go great. Even his profanity is sacred to him. In 2022, a host told him that, statistically, Jonah Hill and Leonardo DiCaprio had both cursed more on screen than he had, that he was only third. Jackson's instant, instinctive reaction was to yell, "That's some bullshit!" He demanded a recount. He could not accept it. And the beautiful thing is that protesting the cursing record by immediately cursing only proved the point. He may not have the highest number. He owns the crown anyway. And when his own friend, director Quentin Tarantino, said Marvel actors are not real movie stars, that the character is the star, not the person in the suit, Jackson did not care that it came from one of the most respected directors alive. He ended the argument in one sentence. "Chadwick Boseman is Black Panther. You can't refute that. And he's a movie star. Loyalty over prestige. Every time. And the audience adores him for all of it." Watching that satellite feed takedown, one person wrote that they loved every minute of the drawn-out awkwardness, that they would never let the anchor off the hook either. Someone else, watching the same clip, described the anchor's panicked forehead slapping as self-hurting and called what Jackson did a hard slap to the face. On the gun violence interview, a commenter said they walked away with new respect, that he came across as a genuinely intelligent guy who took apart the question instead of taking the bait. After the mean tweet's stare, the consensus was that the tweet was brutal but not entirely wrong, and that his refusal to play along made it the best moment of the night. And after the cursing record protest, the comment sections basically held a coronation, agreeing that the math does not matter. He is the cultural king of it. Full stop. Now, is there another side? Sure. A few people will tell you he is just prickly, that he is difficult, that he could be nicer to people who are only doing their jobs. And that is a fair thing to feel. But watch enough of these and a different read takes over. He is not difficult for the sake of it. He is difficult only when someone is being lazy, fake, or careless. Ask him a real question, and you get a real answer. Try to use him for a soundbite, and you get taken apart. And that is really what this is about. Not a collection of celebrities getting owned, though it is that too. It is about one man who decided, very early, that acting is a job. A blue-collar trade he clocks into and gets paid for every Friday. And who refuses to dress it up in the fake reverence the press machine runs on. Everybody else in that ecosystem is media trained into a smooth, harmless version of themselves. Jackson never agreed to that deal. And when you refuse to be handled, you force the people across from you to deal with an actual human being instead of a product. That is uncomfortable. That is unpredictable. That is exactly why nobody can handle him. And it is exactly why we cannot stop watching. So, I want to know what you think. Do you see a man who is occasionally too harsh with people just trying to do their jobs? Or do you see the last honest person left in a fake industry? And when Jackson stares down a bad question and refuses to save anyone from it, is that him being difficult, or is that him being the only real one in the room? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and I will catch you all in the next one.